What's up guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to render an interior scene using Vray Next for SketchUp. And I'd like you guys to stay tuned to the end of this video as I'm going to show you how to get this model for free. Let's get started. Hello guys, this is Vray Concept Architect. If you're new to this channel, I would like you to hit the subscribe button and also don't forget to click on the notification bell that will come up next. In this video, I'm going to show you a fast design process I used to create an interior scene. Let's jump right into it. I'm planning to do a daytime rendering of a dining room, and for the style, I'm going for a minimal dining. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to pinterest.com and search for references. If you haven't created an account yet, a good place to start is to create one. So I'll go over to the search tab here and search for minimal dining. I'm going to make researches on various parts of the rendering, like the choice of material, the camera angle, the composition, lighting, and so on. So I've chosen to use this style for my reference. Once you are done with your research and you're okay with what you have, then go over to the next stage. The next thing I'm going to do is model the footprint of the dining room, which is going to be 10 meters by 5 meters. I left a lot of space back here so I could have enough room to place my camera. Now what I'm going to do is model the walls and windows. If your window is going to show up in your rendering, then you probably need to model it completely, but if it's not going to show up, then creating an opening is enough. One of the mistakes beginners make is not organizing their model by turning each part of the model into groups. So what I'm going to do now is create a face to serve as the ceiling, and I'm going to turn that also into group and reverse the face. Now once you're done with the modeling, the next thing you do is apply materials based on the references I got. I'm going to use the built-in Vray material library. But if you look closely, you can see the material is a little bit tiny. So what I'm going to do is go to the edit materials tabs in SketchUp and edit this material based on the dimension given in Vray. So once I'm done with that, then I'll go over to the next stage of the design. Next thing I'll do is set up the furnitures and decorations, but before that, let's go back some few steps. You can always go to the 3D warehouse to search for some high quality component and download them. I use the slider here to filter my option. I'm going to make some little adjustments to the furnitures and change their materials before I export them into the scene. And for the model I couldn't get in the 3D house, like this one here, I'm going to model them in SketchUp. Once you've got all your model, you can set up your scene using your reference as guidance. The next thing I'll do is set up the camera placement and composition style I'm going to use for this rendering. Depending on the reference I'm using, the image is going to look better this way. But there are a lot of empty spaces over here, so what I'm going to do is go over to the asset editor, click on settings and open the render output menu. Now I'll check on the save frame button and choose a frame I want. So I'm going to use the 1:1 square frame. You can then zoom in to hide empty spaces. But if you look closely, you can see this chair is a little bit distorted. So what I'm going to do is press the zoom tool and change the field of view to 35 degrees. Now set up the scene. Also, don't forget to change this to a 2-point perspective. I'm also going to create other scenes that I found interesting using the Way of Thought composition style. As you know, this is a daytime scene, so I'm going to be using the built-in Vray sun. All I have to do is adjust the sun settings by changing the size multiplier to 70 and also changing the color mode to override. I'm going to test render this to see the effect of the sun, but before that I'm going to hide the components in this model so I could have a faster preview of my render. I'm going to click on the render button now. As you can see, the image is dark, so what I'll do is I'll adjust this using the shadow settings in SketchUp so the light can come in through the opening I created. So the image is brighter now. What I'm going to do is adjust the light using the exposure settings in the Vray frame buffer. But if you want to speed up your rendering, I'm going to show you 2 lighting methods you can use to do that. Number 1 is using the adaptive dome light of Vray Next. Once you place your dome light in your scene, go over to the asset editor and click here to open the flower menu. If you notice, the adaptive box is already checked, so what I'm going to do next is hold down the control key and click on the texture icon here. Now drag and drop the environment sky into the texture slot of the dome light and paste as instance. Now click on settings, open the environment rollout menu and uncheck the background box since the background is already in the dome light. Now I'm going to test render this to see the result. Once the render is done, you can see this overbright area. To correct that, open the Vray correction controls tab and also click on the first color clamp icon to see the burnt out area. Now go to the highlight burnt slide and drag it all the way down until you can't see the clamp again. This can affect the contrast of your image, but you can always correct that in the contrast slide like so. The next method I'm going to show you is using the portal light. To use the portal light, all you have to do is draw a rectangle light at the opening of your model. Go over to the asset editor and click here to open the flower menu. Now check on the portal light box. What the portal light does to speed up your render is it does not use the intensity of the rectangle light. Rather, it brings in light from the outside of your model. I'm going to test render this to see the result, but before I do that, I'm going to open up the frame buffer and then save the previous render so I can have a comparison later. I'm going to test render this to see the result of the portal light. Once this rendering is done, I'm going to save this also so I can use it to compare to the other render. Now if you notice, the dome light seems a little bit dark than the outer light. So what I'm going to do is use the Vray correction control to improve the exposure of this image. Once you're okay with the light settings, then you can bring in your components to see how they react to the light. Before I test render this, I'm going to turn on the material override option so I can have a faster preview also. Now I'm going to click on the render button. As you can see, we have a good lighting, so I'm going to do the final settings of the image. So while this is rendering, I'm going to show you how to get this model for free. All you have to do is go to bit.ly/diningmodel02. I'll put the link in the description below. Once your rendering is done, you can save them and head over to Photoshop. I have a video on Photoshop where I show you 5 tips for instant post-production. I'd like you to check that video out. I put the link in the top corner or in the description below. You can check it out. And that's how to render an interior scene using Vray Next for SketchUp. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I would like you to hit the subscribe button, and also don't forget to like this video, comment if this video has helped you. See you guys next time.